Hi, First Ascents friends. This is Sprinkles, and I'm here with a mindful moment called belly breathing. Belly breathing is exactly what it sounds like. We're going to be breathing into our bellies. And the reason we do this is because it helps to manage stress and anxiety, bring us into the present moment, and create a sense of peace and calm within. And the reason it does this is because when we breathe into our belly, we start to activate the parasympathetic branch of our nervous system, which is rest and digest. And that's where we want to be when we're healing. It helps our immune system. It also just helps us to feel a sense of peace and calm, as I mentioned earlier. And it gets us out of fight and flight and all of the stress response that we are typically living in a normal, everyday basis, especially when managing a serious health condition or when out on adventure because it's super active. So, belly breathing is a very effective way to, like I said, help us just feel a little better in our bodies. We will practice it in just a moment, but before we do, I want you to notice how your breath is flowing through your body naturally right now. So you can close down your eyes, make sure your spine is nice and straight, and just start to notice where you feel your breath. If it's hard to notice, you can place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, and just notice if the hand over your heart and lungs is rising up more, or the one on your belly. I know mine is up on top at the moment. And the reason for that is because we're breathing into our lungs and we're not really paying attention to our breath. It's subconscious, right? So it's just flowing in and out. And that's naturally where we're going to be breathing. Nothing wrong with that. But when we get our breath lower and down into the belly, we start to, like I said, get ourselves into more that rest and digest part of our nervous system. So let's practice together and see if you feel any different. I recommend either sitting in a chair with your spine nice and straight, feet flat on the floor, or laying down, again, spine straight, head on a pillow, maybe even a pillow under your knees. This is a good breathing exercise to do laying down. It can help when you're going to sleep at night and make you feel tired. So if you want to practice that now, you can. If you want to stay more alert, then you might want to stay sitting up. All right. So we'll go ahead and begin by placing our hands on our belly, sort of cupping around the navel. We'll take just a normal breath in and out. And then as you start to breathe in, really press your belly out into your hands. And then as you breathe out, draw the belly back inward. Doing that a few more times. Breathe in, feel the belly expand into your hands like there's a balloon in there. And then as you exhale, drawing all the air back out. Feeling the balloon rise on the inhale and fall on the exhale. You may even notice there's a slight audible quality to the breath, inhaling and exhaling here. The reason is because we're actually starting to stimulate what's called the vagus or vagus nerve, which connects our brainstem down through our neck into every organ of the body. And when we are able to stimulate that nerve, we bring a greater sense of ease to all of the systems in our body. You also may notice that really when you expand your breath as you inhale, you start to activate the diaphragm. That diaphragm is sort of like this jellyfish that rises and falls in the torso. And every time we activate the diaphragm, we get into that rest and digest part of the nervous system. Let's keep focusing on the breath, inhaling, feel the breath expand into the hands. Exhaling, drawing the belly in towards your spine, really letting all the air out. Sometimes it's hard to let it all go. Inhaling and exhaling. I'm going to let you practice a few rounds on your own, seeing how big you can make that balloon as you inhale, how much air you can let out on the exhale. Seeing if you can soften your jaw, neck, and shoulders as you exhale. This is feeling comfortable for you. I invite you to count as you inhale to three and then exhale for five. Inhaling for one, two, three. Exhaling five, four, three, two, one. Inhale one, two, three. Exhale five, four, three, two, one. Allowing the breath to rise. Slightly pause at the top and exhale slowly back down. Pausing as it loops back around. Last few rounds. And before you blink open your eyes and bring your hands back down to your lap, just take a moment to notice how you feel right now. Maybe you feel a greater sense of calm within. Maybe you feel less anxious. Maybe you feel tired. Some of you may even feel a little bit more clarity because the mind is not as active. It takes a lot of concentration to focus on our breath. And so it's a form of meditation as well. You can blink open your eyes when you feel ready. So, with your breath work, it is something that's good to practice even a few times a day. So, if you really liked this, I'd recommend doing it at times that you feel anxious. It's a great tool when you're waiting in the doctor's office and feeling anxious before bed. And lie there and do some rounds of it. It might make you feel extra tired. If you're feeling stressed while you're working, you could do a few rounds of it. Not enough to make you tired, but just enough to sort of shift the energy. And I recommend practicing it because then it's a really easy thing to reach for. You're like, oh, I know how to do that. And it's like a tool that you keep in your tool belt that you can say, I'm going to use this when I need it the most. So practice a few times, see how you feel, maybe teach it to a friend, and hope that it continues to help you. And we'll see you soon.